is an inspirational superstar who grew up watching wrestling and fought against all odds to make her dreams come true. From a small town in Italy, she made her way to the USA where she trained under Harley Race and also appeared on WWE's television. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the young, beautiful, and extremely talented wrestling queen of Italy, Miss Monica! Monica, it is such an honor and a privilege to have you with us today. So, how are you doing today, Monica?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. I'm doing good, honestly. I say ciao to everyone.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
beautiful.
Even if this situation, is still
I know.
crazy, and I hope everyone is safe, but
Yeah,
finally we're starting to be better.
I know. Pandemic is really scary, and especially in Italy, Italy was one of the first countries to be hit so bad with the whole pandemic. So, how are you keeping up with this entire situation since you are in Italy right now?
It was, as I said you before, like now it's honestly it's doing much better because we are back to the normal life. Of course, we need to have some restriction, use the mask and stuff like this, but it's kind that we are back to normal. I was living in London before the pandemic started, and I was living there because, of course, of wrestling. That
Right.
wrestling is huge, and of course, it's better than Italy because you have more opportunity in
Absolutely.
the UK. There are more promotions, more wrestlers, so I was living there. And at one point, I start to to see the pandemic, and I say, "Oh no, I can't live in London without wrestling."
Yeah.
Just do the quarantine there. So I decided to come back in Italy.
Absolutely. And speaking of wrestling, you stepped into the wrestling ring just a few days ago for Ring of Europe's Summer Bash event. So,
Yeah,
how did it feel to, get back in the ring after such a long time?
it was amazing, honestly. Like I was so blessed and lucky, because I feel like, oh yeah, after 5 months of stop, yeah, of course you train a little bit, and I was lucky that I had a ring close to my city, so I
Right.
was able to train even, sometimes, but it's not the same thing as doing show.
Absolutely.
So after all these months, I had like a crazy tour because I did like Rome on
Hmm.
Thursday. Then I went in Vienna for Glam Ring of Europe, two
Right.
days, and
Okay.
then I went in Greece, Athens, for do another show.
Ah,
So I had
okay.
like four shows, four match in like 4 days. It
Awesome. So
was crazy.
you've been busy. Perfect.
I,
So if you talk about all these four places where you performed in these 4 days, which one is your favorite?
It was everything great. This weekend was amazing. Like, I love being Greece because I really love the town, the country. The people are kind of like Italians. So I really
Right.
love working there. And but I did my debut in Austria for that promotion, and honestly, like I was so surprised because the quality of the product is very good. I
Really?
hope you can see something. Yeah, there were such great talents. There were other women very very good. I had
Okay.
such a good match because of course great talents
That
were
is
there.
great. That is great.
It's
So,
amazing.
like, the world does not really know much about the independent wrestling promotions in Italy. So, can you tell us about the whole wrestling industry in your country and how is it compared to other countries?
Yeah, like in Italy, it's harder just because we don't have a lot of wrestling in our culture.
Right.
Pretty much like the oldest promotion in Italy is from 2000. So,
I see.
it's something new, like we don't have a lot of history. So, like, it was harder, especially to start. When I started in 2007, there were nothing here because not many people went outside and get trained.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of shows, so was harder. And now I think it's the last years is better
I see.
because many Italian wrestlers are outside. We have
Mhm.
Italian wrestling in Japan, we have Italian wrestling in the US, in UK. So the more people go out, the more they can, bring their experience
I
and
see.
show to the new generation.
Absolutely.
So
No,
I think
absolutely.
now it's better But of course, we still need to do a lot of stuff.
Of course, of course. So you yourself have quite a story, and you have struggled a lot to get to the point where you are at today. You are originally from, I believe, Pescara in Italy,
Yeah.
and here you are. It's a small town, and here you are now. You are well known not only in Europe but also in America. So you've come a long way from where you started. So can you tell us something about your own experience as a professional wrestler so far?
Yeah, it's when I think about my career, how I start, I feel like I'm so lucky because I was able, to do a lot of stuff, even if I was, very young, because I started training and I was 15 years old, as I say, in Italy. So, it's kind of, okay, you do wrestling, but was, not like a joke, but nothing like real professional, just because we didn't have even a ring, so you start to do something, you only have a lot of passion, especially where I was living, because Pescara is a small town in the center of Italy, so it's not in the north, and it's like strange, but it's the same in the same region of Bruno San Martino, because Bruno San Martino was born in Pizzoferrato, Abruzzo,
Really?
and Pescara is in Abruzzo, so it's very close. So I feel like, yes, Bruno was born here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So were you always a fan of wrestling when you were growing up?
Yes, always. Well, when I was like 10, 11 years old, I started watching wrestling. I was doing ballet, classic dance.
Yeah.
For so many years. I started, I was 6 years old. And I did it since I was like 12, so I was like, oh, I want to become a dancer. But then I started to watch wrestling and I say, no, I want to become a pro wrestler.
Wow. So from ballet to wrestling. Okay.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Can you imagine the face of my parents when I say, oh, don't come to watch me do show with dancing, just come to watch me wrestler,
Beautiful. So who was the person who really got you into wrestling? Was there somebody in your family or your friends?
Yeah, I have a brother that is
Okay.
4 years older than me. And, of course, it's a mess. It was like, oh, start to do moves on me and, stuff like this, play video games. So, and after, with all his friends. So I was see all these people, involved in wrestling. So I was like, okay, me too. But then I was the only one could keep continuing, and became my professional. So I start like, as I say, in Italy, and I started like my first tryout with WWE was in 2012 when I was just 19 years old and I was no experience and I was so scared, so young. But then that helped me to have more European experience. I work with some European girls and I did a couple matches outside Italy. But then in 2015, I felt like I want to become a professional. I want to do wrestling every weekend, get trained by one of the greatest. So I decided to went to the US and start enjoying the Harley Race school because I really think that Harley was one of the best.
An American hero, yes.
Yes, I was lucky that the time he was there, was having school there. And I was like, Harley, after see Harley,
Right.
I mean, I was Italian girl was there with Harley Race. I felt like so lucky.
Beautiful.
And he helped me a lot. All the people there helped me a lot.
So can you tell us something about Harley and how was he as a trainer or as an individual?
Yeah, it was great. Like, honestly, like you see him and, it was like old because when I met him was like 70 something and he was already on the wheelchair.
Right.
But, his face and how he was talking, it was still, scary. You were like,
yeah.
Oh, I really believe that he can do something, because he was always tough and he was jogging a lot, was always there at training. So when you do practice, he was there and he helped you a lot. He knew everything about wrestling. So when you did something, he was there, explain you.
Beautiful.
With promo class, he was there helping you with promo. And I think sharing his story, that's the best,
Beautiful.
So what to his story.
what was your favorite part about, the training? Was it the wrestling or the promos?
Well, I like promo, so I think that there they really teach you like a good base,
Yeah.
and everything. It was a little bit harder for me because English is not my first language. So even now, I think my English, it's not the best. Um, but I think there you learn good also this stuff. But of course, the training it's amazing, because if you do a move and you have Harley there, teaching you how to do, you feel like yes, if you do something
Yeah.
good, Harley is there saying, "Oh, good job," and you feel like yes, I did good.
Beautiful. So, did you start training since you were 15 years old? Because I did a little research on you, and I was surprised that you started training at such an early age.
Yeah, I was very, very little. Like, um, I was going to school,
Yeah.
even on Saturday. Unfortunately, maybe I'm the only one, even in Italy, that went to school on Saturdays. And after this, I went to school in the morning, and then I took a train and 2 hours of train to go in a place for the wrestling
Wow.
session without even a ring. So it was like just the passion, to do. And but I wish I could start now, even in Italy, because now in Italy we have schools with ring, we have school with trainers that went outside, have more experience. But in 2007, there were nothing,
But you
So
still,
it's kind of yes, you start, but technically, you didn't do nothing
I
big,
mean, you had nothing, but you still made the best out of what you had. And, you went from
Yeah.
there, you went to America and you made a name for yourself. And that's the most amazing part of yourself. So, during the training, when you were training with Harley, was it always very positive or easy for you? Or did you also find it challenging? And did you ever have thoughts about, maybe wrestling is not for me or anything like that?
Yeah, of course you have moments, when you think, oh, maybe, I'm not doing a lot, or maybe you want to do more, but then you can't, That's something that you have, But for me, because I was foreign, so every time to came in the US, I was able to stay only for 90 days
Right.
because of the visa.
Yes.
So for me, when there, I knew that I had 3 months. So I tried to use the more that I can, because I always say, okay, an American that start with me, can stay here maybe for forever, And
Yeah.
I only have 3 months, so I need to do everything that I can to take the more, because I can't stay 91 days, So
Right.
I need to do everything in 90 days. So this pushed me a lot, to try to do the best, and only because you have just 3 months every time. But it's also more difficult because even when you start to do show, it's like that every 90 days you need to come back home. So it's like maybe you work for a promotion and you wanted to do to keep working for them, but then you realize, oh, I need to go the next show, I will be in Italy, so it's like little VR for this. I
Right.
wish I was American, but I have an Italian passport.
So, but the challenges that you face, they just made you better and better because sometimes they say that the challenges they bring out the best in yourself, and you've grown a lot as a wrestler, as a person, and that's beautiful. Okay, so tell me about it. Was wrestling school, the wrestling school with Harley, was that the place where you also met your real life tag team partner, Kareem? Was that the place where you met him?
No, actually, like we were together before.
Oh,
Like
really?
he start, yeah. I mean, we start in Italy together, and
Okay.
then he was there before me. So with some of his friends. So when they come back in Italy, they talk about the Harley Race school, and they show us what they did and everything. So I was like, yeah, I wanna go, I wanna go, I wanna go, and we went together.
Okay.
So yeah.
And have
And
you
we did
ever, yes, go ahead. Sorry,
No,
go ahead.
sorry. And we did like the team of the Roman Dynasty, so we
Yes,
were.
I know. The Roman Dynasty. Tell me something about it. How did you come up with this name?
Well, we used that name because like he was from Rome and I was very close to Rome, so we felt more like Roman instead of Italian. And so we say, oh, we should bring, the Roman Empire again, in the US. So that
Right.
was, but now we are not together anymore. So we're not, we still work together, if something happen, but we are not, like, stuck in like before. So now I feel like I can show more my personality as, as a single. So now I'm the Italian girl, so now I feel like I can be more show.
Absolutely.
Because actually I'm not really from Rome. So now I feel like I can show my Italian personality to all the world.
Yes, you can. And you have done a tremendous job working all by yourself, and not just in wrestling. So many people don't know this, but you were not only involved in wrestling as a wrestler, but you also hosted some shows for WWE, including WWE's Afterburn, as well as WWE's Bottom Line. So can you tell us something about your experience, hosting those shows?
Yeah, it was such a cool job because like I started wrestling in Italy, and there were not many girls, of course, involved and stuff like this. So at that point, like WWE were looking for like, that it's hard because maybe you guys have the English commentators, right? So you don't need a translator.
Right.
But for us, when we show wrestling on TV, we need the Italian commentator.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the voice with another guy of that program, WWE Afterburn and Bottom Line. So I did that job for like 2 years, and it was amazing because like I was able to be involved in wrestling, but even not like in the ring.
That's great.
But then when I finished that job, I really said to myself, no, the next time I need to be in that ring, and I want someone else, comment myself. So
right. That's beautiful. They're beautiful, because a lot of people, when they get such a job like yourself as a host, they get comfortable and they want to continue that job because you're on TV already. But it's the passion in you that made you feel like, no, this is not it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be a wrestler in the WWE. And that brings me to the question that you were also the first ever Italian-born to have stepped into the wrestling ring after the late, great Bruno Sammartino. That must have made you feel amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Like I was so great for all the Italian movement,
right?
Because that show, like, I honestly, like, I was born in such a small town, just 1,200 people, like I was never thinking myself, oh, one day, even if it was just for one night, but I did something that for everyone here in Italy was something, very important. So that's for me show that, that if you really believe in something and, you keep going, maybe one day, you can do it, even if it was just one night, but I feel like, okay, I did something, so now maybe the new generation, the new guy can get inspired and maybe say, oh, she did one time, maybe I will do it 2 times or something like that,
First, and it's the beginning of something, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see you on TV very soon. So can you tell me, how did you feel, performing in front of 1,000 people in the arena and millions watching across the globe? Were you nervous at that point?
I was very nervous because like I was prepared for that because Harley told me, like, oh, next Monday you're gonna stay there, so I know you can do it. So and I was okay. If Harley say I can do it, of course I can do it.
Yes.
And I was like so excited just because it's you're live and you have all these people watching at you. But I felt like I was ready for that moment.
Absolutely.
I was training very hard that period, so it was like, now I can do it.
And you looked amazing in the ring, I must say. You did not look nervous. You were great. You were incredible. So I believe it was the year 2016 when you wrestled Nia Jax. And this thing about your match against Nia Jax is that when they bring in people, for one night enhancement talents, the matches don't last very long, and they're usually very one-sided. Like Nia Jax gives like 2 moves, and then that's it. She pins them. But you actually fought back, and you actually got Nia Jax in the neck hold. How was it? Like, how did it happen? Because that's not something you expect an enhancement talent to do, but you actually put up a fight.
Yeah, I try to be a fighter the more that I
Yes,
can,
that's
like
great.
of course we also are like very big different sides.
Yeah,
She's honestly like very being strong, you can see how strong she is, like very, very strong. But to try not to be like face striking, the more that I was able to do. But
right.
of course she's so strong.
Oh,
But I tried.
you did try. I mean, she might be the bigger lady, but you were definitely your stronger one. I mean, you put up a great fight. So I've got to ask you this because, before the match, there's a WWE superstar, Alicia Fox, and she tweeted a picture of yourself and she wrote that, you guys are longtime friends and she's so happy to see you there. Is that true? Or was that like a good?
Maybe, who knows? Maybe.
we're gonna keep that in character. Okay. All right.
It's mystery,
That's gonna be
yes
secret.
and no.
Okay. I got it. Because on a wrestling community online, there was a talk. Alicia Fox just tagged this person. Are they really friends? And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna find that out. Okay.
Guess what? You're not gonna find
I'm
out.
not gonna find that out.
Maybe for the next time.
Yeah, the next time. So, when you make your debut, when you sign to a major promotion in the future, would you like to work as a heel or a face when you begin?
I enjoy everything, honestly. Like, I'm that kind of wrestler that I'm able to do both
Beautiful.
because when I was in the US, I most of the time worked as a heel, but at the same time, I have like a look, like look like a good girl,
Yeah.
so in Italy, I'm always baby face. So I like do both, honestly, like,
I was going to
and
ask you that.
be myself.
I was going to ask you that because during this interview you are not in character. You broke your character, and I can tell that you're a baby face in real life. So I was going to ask you, is it hard being a heel in the ring when you're actually a face in real life or not?
For me, no. So many people say, "Oh, but you look so mean when you're here." It was like, okay, but you look so face when you're face. Like, I try to be good in both, But I enjoy also be here. So maybe it's your alter ego. I don't know how to say in English. Alter
Yeah,
ego.
alter ego. Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah. So maybe I'm so good in the real life, and maybe I'm heel in the
Yeah.
ring. Or sometimes I'm heel in the good life, in the real life, and good in the
Okay.
ring.
Well, I'm glad that you're not a
That's
heel
me.
right now, or I would be very nervous. Okay.
So,
I guess that's what makes you, a professional and a real good wrestler if you can do both. That's incredible.
yes, I
All
think
right.
you should be able to work both, because you
Definitely.
never know when a promotion needs you. Maybe if they need you as a heel, you must be prepared for do that. Or if
Definitely.
you need you as a face, you must be prepared. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Definitely. So, Monica, since we are nearing the end of the interview, let's have a little fun. All right. So, since you
okay.
made your debut, your debut on Raw about 4 years ago, I'm going to ask you 4 questions based on the number 4, and it's going to be a rapid fire round. So you have to answer the questions fast, fast, fast. All right. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I try.
so question number 1, real easy. 4 things you love about wrestling.
What? Sorry, I didn't understand. That's very
Don't worry,
good.
I was a little too fast. Okay, so question number 1: 4 things that you love about wrestling.
4 things that I love. I love the wrestling, like the match. I love the wrestler as a group. I love traveling, and I love when you're there, feeling the crowd that are enjoying what you're doing. So
Beautiful, beautiful. All right,
it's
number
hard to
2.
explain in English sometimes.
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, you speak just great. You speak just great, and
Thank you.
it's definitely all right. So number 2, 4 wrestling superstars that you really want to wrestle.
Trish Stratus, because she's one of the greatest of all time for me. Charlotte, because I really think that now she's one of the greatest. Chris Jericho, but I
What?
think she's amazing. I would like to do an intergender. And the 4, I should say The Rock because it was one of the greatest entertainment for a time. Maybe I should do like a promo challenge with him.
That would be nice. You know, it's interesting because when I was asking you the question about the 4 stars you want to wrestle, in the back of my head, I was like, please say Charlotte, because when I look at you, I really feel like, you could be this Italian queen versus the queen, Charlotte Flair, and it will be just an incredible match. I hope that we get to see that soon because I really think that it would be an incredible match because I've seen your matches and you are really good in the ring as well. And I know that you would be able to compete with Charlotte really well. So I hope that we get to see that.
That means a lot.
Definitely. Also, you mentioned Chris Jericho. So what are your thoughts on the intergender matches? Are you comfortable with them?
Yes, and I really, really love intergender because when I start, even at wrestling at Harley's, I always work with men because there were not many girls around. So I'm very comfortable to train with other guys and have intergender. And I like because sometimes you can do stuff that you can do with women.
Right.
So,
very interesting. All right. So question number 3, 4 wrestling match types that you really want to try.
Okay, so want to do like lucha libre.
Okay.
I love the Mexican styles. I would like to do a match more lucha. I would like to do like hardcore match because honestly, like I've never done,
Okay.
So it would be interesting, maybe not too, no ECW style, but it would be something different. Maybe even a steel cage. I've never did a steel cage. It would be funny. And maybe a ladder,
Oh, okay. So
some match that I never did,
So you're not scared of heights?
I can be, but maybe this would help me to don't be scared.
Right.
When you're in the ring, you have all the adrenaline, maybe you don't
Absolutely.
think about that stuff.
Now that you've mentioned Charlotte, and I'm looking at you, and I really want that Charlotte match. In the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, Charlotte versus like Charlotte versus Monica will be just amazing. So I know that you've wrestled in a lot of countries, but I've got to ask you this: 4 countries that you really want to wrestle in that you haven't wrestled in so far.
Okay, so I would like to go in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico is one of my first country that I really want to go. I should say Canada too, because every time I was in the US, I was never able to go in Canada. That is so close. I was like, I'm in Canada. Japan, because I would like to go in Japan. Maybe say France, because it's one of the country in Europe that I've never been in wrestling, and it's so close to Italy, so I think it's my next one.
Beautiful. Monica, I said that I'm going to ask you 4 questions, but I'm a little curious. So I'm just going to ask you one more.
one extra.
So what is, the next goal, the next target in your radar? Do you have a promotion in mind, or do you have a country in mind, such as Japan, or a promotion like NXT UK, AEW, so many out there? Which is your next goal?
I mean, it's very hard to say like right now because this pandemic destroyed every plan. I was living in England before all this started. So I was very focused, like the British style and then the UK promotion working there. So I was like, oh, maybe, try to go to NXT UK, so I was living there because in Europe, England is very good for wrestling because you have a lot of opportunity. So I was trying to make it there, because I work in the US and I work in Europe, but I wanted to be a good name in the UK too. But then pandemic, so now it's harder a little bit, but I really enjoy now traveling in Europe. So maybe I think I will stay a little bit more to make my name bigger in Europe.
Right.
But there are so many places. I would like to go in Japan and Mexico. Like really now during this pandemic, I was watching a lot of lucha libre style. Okay. So now I feel like I want to go to try the lucha in Mexico. Who knows?
Beautiful.
Maybe.
Beautiful. Actually, I've got another question now since you mentioned British wrestling and US. Talking to you is so incredible that I don't want this interview to get over. So I'm just going to keep asking you questions. So you've wrestled so many places, and I'm going to ask you about US, Italy, and UK. Which place is your favorite when it comes to wrestling?
They are all different. Like what the crowd especially is very, very different. Like in England, you have more the British side. So I always work with such a great, great, great talent. Like for real, like you see like a guy that maybe is 20 years old that has like maybe 5 years, 6 years of experience because they start so young and they have great, great teachers, great schools, so the quality is very good. But at the same time, I feel like I love the US so much because it's been like, well, I'm an America fan inside. I've always been, since I was a kid, I always watch American movies and everything about America to me, it's like, I go crazy.
Yeah.
So working there, it's like amazing, the fans there, like I really, really, I think my heart is in the US.
I get that.
I wish every time to be back there. If it was not for the visa problem, I would probably stay more in the US.
I do hope that you get to move to the US once the pandemic is over. And I'll tell you something, before this interview, when I was just watching your matches and, going through your profile, I was really a fan of yours. I loved your ring style. I love, your character. I loved it. But after this interview, I love you a lot more. I'm a number one fan now. You're incredible. And I love talking to you. And I really hope that once this pandemic is over, you get to move to the US and get to be on our television screens so we can see you on our TV every week.
And you can see me against Charlotte, right?
Yes, we really need that match. We need that match so much. I think it will be a big money match, an Italian Queen versus Queen Flair. It will be just great, an incredible match. And I do believe that we will see that match. Thank you so much, Monica. It was a total pleasure talking to you. Before we sign off, do you have an advice for any of our listeners listening to you right now who would also like to be a wrestler in the future?
Yes. So first of all, always believe in yourself. Never back down. If someone even told you, "Oh, you never make it. You will never make it." Then don't be sad. Just bring that to have more passion and to push yourself, because you never know what you can do in your life. Maybe one day you really became superstar, but even if not, the most important thing is enjoy. If you have a passion, enjoy doing that. Nobody needs to be Shawn Michaels, there will also be other people that are still good. So it's always this, and just go in a good school, try, to get trained by good people and have the more experience that you can. And wrestling is amazing. So I always say to everyone, they need to try, if they like, they need to try.
Thank you. Monica, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed, talking to you today. And I feel like you are such an incredible person, not just a wrestler, but a person. And I feel like if we had more wrestlers, more stars like you in the industry would be such a better place. You're incredible, Monica. Thank you so much.
Grazie.
I've got one more question, Monica, before we sign off, because I'm still thinking about the whole Charlotte Flair thing. So would you mind cutting a promo right now, challenging Charlotte Flair to a match?
Oh, I must be there. Well, do one show very short. I can only say that. She's the greatest of all time. She's the queen, and she's such a great, great talent, but she doesn't know about Miss Monica. She doesn't know about the girl that started in a very small town of Italy and make it, to work harder, move, left Italy, went in the US, try to be the best that they can. And, Italians do it better. So maybe that will be.
Italians do it better. I must say, I have goosebumps right now.
Sorry for my English. Sometimes I feel like, My English is like,
No, you're great. You're fantastic. I must tell you that. And just the personality, it's incredible. It's unique, and it's something that we need to see. Yes, go ahead.
just because like even it's been so many years that I'm outside Italy, so people think, oh, maybe she should speak better, perfect English,
You
but
do speak
because
perfect.
every time, but because every time, like I think that Italian has a problem. We try to speak with the ends, and even if we don't say something correct, but people understand us. So for me, it's like I know people will understand me. So I never focus to speak like a perfect English because I think like this make more my character. I mean,
You,
I'm
you
Italian, so I don't need to speak British,
I'm telling
perfect
you, Monica,
English.
you speak great. And the one thing I love about you is your accent. The way you speak, it's incredible,
Okay.
and it's something different about you. I mean, if everybody started speaking the same way, it would be so boring. So
It's true.
it's your personality, the happy, the cheerful, the joyful personality of yours that is so amazing, just like you are. Thank you so much, Monica. I literally have goosebumps, after your promo, and I can't wait to see that match. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure talking to you, Monica. And hopefully we will have you back on the show very soon. So take care, and we can wait to see you on TV. Thank you.
Thank you.
And this brings us to the end of episode number 6, featuring the incredible Miss Monica. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to share the episode with your friends, family, and wrestling fans all across the globe. And we will be back next week with a very special 2-hour-long episode. So don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next Tuesday, and as always, every other Tuesday after next Tuesday. Take care, and we'll see you soon.